Hey, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. This month we are using this wonderful sketch from Page Maps. It is from January of 2019 and we are going to stretch it. This month I decided to go ahead and do a double page layout, and I started by trimming down my photos in 1/2 inch increments. So some are 2.5 inches, some are 3.5 inches and up. I didn't really have a goal in mind as to how they were going to be laid out, but I know I was going to make one big block of photos, and if I kept them in 1/2 inch increments, they would work out one way or another. I did have several photos from this particular day. This is when my kids were little and they are playing in the little kiddie pool at my mom's house with their cousins. And so I knew I had some options on how many photos to use, and I went back and forth. There's a series of photos there I'm looking at right now of my son going down the slide into the pool, and I couldn't decide if I was going to use those or not. Ultimately, I decided to make a separate page for those. So these other ones are just the kids playing either in the pool, riding their pedal bikes, and just playing with the water and hanging out together. And there I go again, trying to decide if I'm going to use the ones with my son. I went back and forth several times on that, and it's going to be more of a sequential type layout that I'll do for those photos. I'm using paper from Fancy Pants. It's their poolside collection. I believe it was from last year, and the paper is super busy. I don't normally have a problem with super busy paper, but I wanted to make sure that the paper lended itself to the photos and wasn't distracting. So really the goal was to find the right papers for these photos. I knew something in this collection would work, but I didn't know which. So I ultimately decided on the green paper, and then there's a red and pink stripe that I'm going to use. And on the sketch there is a vertical swatch of paper going down the left-hand side, so I went ahead and decided to use that pink and red as that vertical piece, and I'm going to carry it over into the second page. So the sketch is really more towards the right-hand side of my page, and then I'm going to carry it over into the left-hand page that I'm working on. And you'll see how that comes together. I am going to use that big circle element in the bottom right hand side just like it does in the sketch, and I'm going to put embellishments right where the bicycle embellishment is in the sketch, and I'm also going to use the horizontal piece that has the scallop edge in the sketch. I'm going to carry that across both pages as well. So I decided to back my papers on white 12 by 12 cardstock because I wanted to have a place to be able to put them together, and then I also liked having the border around the edge. So the border goes around the three sides, the center piece meets in the middle, so there's no white edge in the center. So for the circular element that's in the bottom right hand side, I'm also going to put that in the upper left hand side, and I'm using the yellow duck paper. And to tone that down, I'm going to do some stitching around the circle with some black embroidery floss. And I am just using 3 strands of the embroidery floss. I do that off camera so you don't have to see it. I'm using these dies from Tonic to create the circles, and this layering die set has a ton of different size circles in it, so it made it really quick and easy. These dies do not fit in a big shot. You have to have something that has a wider platform. I think they're about 7.5 or 8 inches across. If you saw there on the ruler, I did measure it. So I happen to have a tangerine made by Tonic also, and that is what I used to cut those with. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch those off camera. While I'm laying out my photos here, I wanted to say go ahead and check out all of the other wonderful ladies that are participating in this month's Stretch the Sketch down below. I have their links in the comments for you. They are very talented, and some of them will be going in sizes all the way down to traveler's notebooks, I'm sure. We do all kinds of different sizes, as long as it's not a 12 by 12, which is what the sketch started out as. You can go bigger or smaller. So check them out and give them some love. If you haven't seen this series before, we do this monthly, usually the third Sunday of the month. and we'd love to have you join us next time too. So I went ahead and backed all my photos there with white paper, and I am not going to leave the white in the center down where the gap in the two pages are. I don't know why I actually matted it that way to begin with, but I'll be cutting that off. Also wanted to let you know that at the end of this video I did cut off the section with me actually doing the embellishing. This month's embellishing is super simple. I used the puffy stickers that came in this collection, and I've put some still shots of the entire layout in each page for you to check out there and see what exactly I did. So basically I just used those puffy stickers, and then I used some Heidi Swapp Navy Color Shine to sprinkle around each of the clusters. But on the upper right hand side, that's where my title is going to go, and it's just going to be Grandma's Pool. I'm using thickers for the word grandma's, and pool will be spelled out in the puffy stickers from this collection. I'm just punching that leaf paper with the large scallop border punch that I have from X-Cut, and that is going to be the horizontal piece that spreads across the two layouts. I'm also going to do a black piece with that to back it with, just to tone down the bright colors again, and that's something I do frequently. It just helps bring down the brightness and the boldness of those colors and gives your eye a place to rest. And it also differentiates between the patterns, because it gives you a little bit of a break between the two. So my apologies for not being able to show you the embellishing portion of the video. Like I said, it is very simple. My husband recently moved his computer desk into the area where I scrapbook, and we were both in there at the same time, so I don't know if I just forgot or if I actually hit the button and I didn't double check, but for some reason I don't have the video for that portion of this layout. So again, my apologies. You see me measuring there to make sure I got the borders lined up where I want them, and we are almost to the end of the actual video that I do have. I will have stills of the embellishment areas for you to look at a bit closer. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and here come the stills. There are the embellishments. I'm going to go ahead and talk over this portion. I have moved the journaling down into the bottom right hand side, kind of to bridge the gap between that little embellishment cluster and bring it up to the photos, and that is pretty much going to do it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.